Hello, guys. Welcome back to today's session. I know for now I'm the only one here. So I'll just wait for people to join. I'm trying to share the link so that people can join and we can start waiting for a little bit and then we can start. You can also share the links if you know people who want to join before we start. Yes, so welcome to this interview session. I'm just trying to get people on WhatsApp to join. If you know anyone who is interested to join, just share the link with them. And we will start, let's say approximately 12:10, we should start because we can't wait that long. Um, so it's 12:05. Let me know if you want to start in the comment. And so, if much people don't join, we are going to do a one-on-one session, and it will be based off how long you've been on the live. So just write your name and where you are joining from, and then if you want to be interviewed right now, we can go through it. I also have notes that I want us to go through. So let me know what we should do. All right. I think we should start. It's 12:08, so we can start. Salamatu is saying hello. Can we please DM and explain our situations to you? Yeah, you can go ahead and send me a message and I'll reply. But if you are okay to share it here as well, we can go through them because there's not much people. But for privacy concerns, if you want to like text or DM me, you can on WhatsApp. All right, I think we can start. So for my notes, what do you guys think? It looks like I'm the only one talking. For my notes, I have notes. Should we go through that, or we should just do the interview section with anyone that is ready, so that we can learn from one another? Okay, so I can start from here. So the F1 visa interview process is one that is a huge part of the process, right? And so even though you've gone through the application process, it's another step for you to get the visa, because if you don't get the visa, then it means that all your efforts are wasted. So today, like you all know that for the F1 visa, you have to satisfy certain requirements. Why do we even go for the visa? It's for them to access eligibility for the visa, right? And then see if you can stay with the terms and conditions of the visa. That's why they ask you questions like, why are you going to study? What is your funding opportunity? So if you are not able to answer these questions, that's how your visa is denied, and it means that all your efforts are gone to waste. So let's look at some things that you should do, like when you go for your visa interview. So first of all, I want to talk about when a question is the secret to answering the question is for you to assess why the question was asked. Why are you going to the US to study? Then the visa officer wants to assess why why are you going to the US, right? So you want to know quickly what the person wants to know, and then you give them tailored answers. So why are you going to the US? Then you tell them you are going to the US to study this program. This is how this program is going to help you and what you plan to do after school. So you want to read the mind of the person. Why is this person asking this question? Let's say you say your uncle is funding you. Then the person asks you, how many children does your uncle have? You quickly have to assess that the person is trying to know that the amount of money your uncle is making and your cost of attendance or the deficit is not tallying. So he's making sure that the person doesn't have other responsibilities aside you that they want to take care of. So first of all, I want to talk about you understanding why the question is asked and quickly trying to tailor your answer in such regard. And then you also want to lead the conversation, correct? Like if you go there and you are so tensed, like sometimes everything vanishes from your mind. So I saw one transcript, the person was like, um, I, I I do not see much in my glasses. Do you think I should put it on or something? Just to ease, and the visa officer was like, it's okay. So just to ease the tension between you and the visa officer, you want to create some form of conversation or make sure you are engaging with the person. How are you doing? I know we from Africa or Ghana, we are a bit timid, right? So how are you doing? I'm good. But you want to ask the person, how about you? Or like, how has your morning been? Something the person knows that you are not so timid. The more timid you are in psychology, it feels like you are about to lie, right? So make sure that you ease the tension between you and the visa officer when you go for the visa interview. Also, it is not a matter of talking for long, it's a matter of being concise and then being structured. You can say a lot of things and not make any sense. So most of us, I know while we are prepping, we are putting together some transcripts. So you want to be concise and then you want to be structured. Why are you going to study this program? I'm going to Arizona State University to study global business management. Prior to this, I studied business administration in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Currently, I'm working in the Department of Human Resources Management, and I plan to come back to work with this department. I have said a short while, he has known where I went to school, and I have said what I want to come to do after school, not just saying that you want to come and work with them. Probably you've worked with them before, they are interested in you, you put your qualifications across. So you want to be concise, yet you want to make some sense. Like, you don't have to talk much to make the like to make meaning, correct? Like, that's what I'm trying to mean. And then it's okay to fumble. Like, if you are saying like it's okay, because yeah, there's the environment alone is tension. So it's okay to fumble, but while you are fumbling, make sure that you are putting thoughts together. Like, can you give me a second to think about this question or something? Just make sure that you are not fumbling, and in your head, once you are fumbling, you feel like, okay, this doesn't go well, this isn't going well, but you have to put yourself together quickly and then put your thoughts together. I think that should also help. It's okay to fumble. It's so you have to be natural, be genuine, and try not to look depressed. Try not to look like you have memorized what you are going to tell the visa officer. Oftentimes we have memorized what we want to tell them, and so we once you leave out a word, you feel like now you have to take a big pause. You have to do, like, your body gestures give you a way that you have actually memorized something. So if you are going, try not to look so depressed, try not to look so um like you have memorized something, correct? And that should also help. Also, you want to prove beyond reasonable doubt if the questions are asked, like questions like, how are you funding your deficit? Okay, I'm funding my deficit. My uncle is funding my deficit. Your cost of attendance is 30,000. Your uncle earns 40,000. You know there's a question mark right there, because your uncle is not going to fund your school and then sit there without having any money on them. So you want to prove beyond reasonable doubt while you are creating your transcript, while you are prepping. You want to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you can fund yourself. You want to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you have strong ties to your home country. You want to prove beyond reasonable doubt that when you come, you can apply to the terms and conditions of the visa, like working 20 hours a week and no more than 20 hours. So all of these things is, they assess our thought process through the visa interview. And I think basically once you have done this and you've mastered your confidence, you should be good with the F1 visa interview. So I'll go ahead and share my F1 visa interview experience. So I came in Mastercard and we're a group of 60 people. So um a lot of people had gone before me. When I got there, I was just asked two questions: why the program I'm going to study, and then what I plan to do after school. So personally, I told them that I had a non-profit organization back home, and then I would want to run that myself. So when I come to the US and acquire that skills, I will need to manage people. I'll need to work with people when I'm working in this non-profit organization, and that's why a global business management was my program of choice. So you want to find a societal problem, you want to solve that problem while you are linking it to your strong times to your home country. So let's say if you are doing economics, you want to say maybe the depreciating factor of our city is a huge or national concern. So you are come to study a master of economics or master a PhD in economics to go back to a research we're working on, to work on this city or this currency depreciation. So you always want to find a problem in the society and address that problem with a certain solution based off the program that you are coming to read. So now I want us to look at, if you want us to interview you real quick, like you can come on, I'll ask you one question, you answer it, and then we'll try to figure out what you should tweet a bit, what was really good. Um yeah. So please put in the comment section if you want us to talk to you. Okay, I can send the notes that I have in the description of the live, so that if you come back to this video, you can just have it. So it was a lot of explanation, but I was just picking the point. So I'll just put the notes in the description of this video. Someone is asking, how can I join to be interviewed? I guess you have to the link, right? Join the link. Join the link, and then I should be able to talk to you. I'm trying to see how you can join the link and speak. Apparently, we cannot join the YouTube link. Um, how do we do this? Okay, you want to drop the question? Okay, so I'll ask a question. Okay, let me see if I can share this link. Um, so I've copied the link. Give me a second. Let me see how I can get this to you guys. Um, okay. Yep, I shared a link with Bright on the call, so I think you should be able to share the link with us. Um, is anyone able to join? I shared it on WhatsApp as well. I just shared the link on with the StreamYard as well on YouTube. So please join, and then let's see if we can prep. Is anyone able to join? Please let me know. Okay, so someone said the link is working. So please join the link. You if you want to be interviewed, but a certain number of people can be on the link. So once I'm done with someone, then I just um drop you in. I can see Zainab is trying to join, so I'm trying to admit Zainab. Hi Zainab. Hmm. Please let me know if you want to join. If you can join, please join so that we can make sure that this is useful to you and it's useful to others as well. While I'm asking your question and you're answering, and I'm giving the feedback, someone also is picking a thing or two. But if you think for privacy concerns you don't want to join, I think that's fine. Okay. Hi, Salamatu.
Hi,
Yeah, how are you doing today?
good please.
Yeah, I'll check your message once I'm done with the call. But do you want us to like do a quick prep?
The thing is that I am new to this and I wanted to explain some things to you first, but I've texted you on WhatsApp. So I
Okay.
wanted to know if you can check that first before, because I'm not really prepared for the interview. I just wanted to know how things go down because I'm having kind of doubts with my situation.
Okay, sure. I'll look at that. I promise I'll reply your message after the live, and then if maybe we have to do a quick call and I'm available, we can do that.
Okay, okay, then
Yeah.
that's thank you so
Um,
much.
someone said I want to join. Please use the link to join. Let me share the link again. Yeah. So you can feel free to exit when you are done. Like Salamatu, if you want to drop, you can drop.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, and then I'll look at your message and give you a call if that's possible.
okay. Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you too. Hi, Ade. Hello. I think she dropped again. Yes, so while we are waiting, also let's touch on some of the things that I've done videos on. I've done a video on the bank statement do's and don'ts. So if you are taking a bank statement to the embassy, most of us I know it's hard to come by these bank statements with huge sums of money, or having relatives that have these huge sums of money in their accounts. So we end up going to people that says bank statements available for sale bank statements. I think that once you are buying a bank statement, you want to assess the credibility of the bank statement. And then in my video, I did mention that the amount of money has to be in the bank statement for a minimum of a month, because usually the visa officer wants to know that is the money easily liquidifiable, like is it, will it be able to get the money if they need the money to pay your tuition and you not be out of status in the US. And so the money should be in your account for a minimum of 1 month for them to at least believe that this money can stay correct. And then if you are taking a bank statement to the embassy, let's say your deficit is 20,000 and then you have 20,000 bank statements, that's fine. But let's say if your uncle is funding you and you are taking your uncle's bank statement to the embassy, your uncle is earning 30,000 and the bank statement, your deficit is also 30,000. Like your uncle cannot use their whole or their entire money to pay for your fees or your tuition. So it becomes questionable and it's hard for them to approve your visa. So if you are taking a bank statement of your uncle, you want to use the 1.5 rule, which is the your cost of attendance plus a 50% or something. So let's say you have a deficit of 10,000 and your uncle is funding you, your uncle's bank statement should be about 15,000, which is 1.5 of 10,000. So this is able to show that your uncle is able to fund you in their first year, and maybe they have a surplus to fund for themselves. They can also have a continued commitment to fund for your second year. So that's why there's a 1.5 rule. If you want to search like do's and don'ts on bank statement, you can find that. And also if you are taking a bank statement to the embassy, you want to make sure it's genuine, and you want to make sure that it's the 1.5 rule. You don't want to use stocks because stocks fluctuate a lot. So when you're taking stocks as a form of funding the visa interview, it's like when we need the money right now, are we going to get it? When is the stocks vesting? So all of these questions, stocks are not advisable for you to send to the visa interview. And then you also don't want to use like real estate, because that's also not easily like liquidifiable. Like they cannot liquidify the money in a short while. So you don't also want to use real estate. And then I also spoke about how to repay your um student loan. So another option for you to secure funding for the visa interview, like mind you, I'm talking a lot about funding because if you are going for the visa interview, and you don't have enough funding, all your questions most likely is centered around the funding, right? Once you hand your I-20 over to the visa officer and you do not have enough funding, they then start to gear all their questions towards enough funding. If you have full funding, then they start looking at, do you have relatives in the United States? Are you supposed to disclose that? Um, are you supposed to disclose your relationship with them? So I'm talking about the funding right now. So you want to make sure that if you have a student loan, you want to know the interest on the loan, you want to know your monthly repayments, and then you want to come up with a payment plan. So let's say you have taken 10,000 from Empower. I think in that video I did a math of like Empower did a math saying that if you take 10,000 plus the interest plus everything processing, you pay $149 a month. So you want to come up with a payment plan, and I'm a student, but how am I going to pay this $149? Probably you have secured a 50% assistantship and you know the monthly income that you are getting. Also, I did mention that Empower has this they have a monthly rates or something. So you want to be able, they give monthly allowance for your living or something. So they don't just give you the tuition, they give you an extra amount. So if they give you that extra amount for your expenses and then some of the amount is left after your expenses, then you can add that back to them as a monthly repayment. So you can say that, oh, I'm able to pay the monthly repayment of $150, and this is how I'm doing it. So you want to come up with your payment plan, you have to know your interest, you have to know your principal and all of those things. And then I did mention that if you have relatives in the United States, yeah, you cannot deny the fact that you have relatives in the United States. I did mention that we went as a group for the Mastercard, and then there was one colleague of mine that had a relative in the United States, and so they are the relative was a U.S. Army person. So I think it came up, and then they asked her if she has relatives in the United States. So she actually had to disclose that. Yes. She actually had to disclose that because they had seen it. And so if she lied, that's why sometimes people are like, I went for the visa interview. I said I had relatives and they denied it. So, or you didn't, like, you want to be honest. I have a relative in the United States, but this is my relationship with them. So while they ask you after about your relative, you want to quickly let them know that I have a relative in the United States, but this is my plan after school. I plan to come back to run my nonprofit organization. You just don't leave it that you have a relative in the United States. You still want to exhibit your strong ties to your home country. Dami and Ade, if any of you are ready, we can do the prep.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, ma. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity, ma.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, ma.
So are you ready for us to do a prep?
Yes, ma.
Okay. Let's say you've passed me your I-20. What is your deficit?
44,000.
And you have partial scholarship or your cost of attendance is equal to your deficit.
Yes, my cost of attendance. I did not have any funding.
Okay, let's start. Hi Ade, how are you doing today?
Good, I'm fine, ma. Good morning, officer.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your educational background.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, I'm a graduate of political science. I graduated 2021, and I'm very eager to solve the problem in my community because I'm a gender advocate, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a human developer.
Okay. So let's do this. When I ask you the question and then you answer, I might forget if you are supposed to go on and on before I point out your mistakes to you. But like, all of us are not perfect, right? If you were interviewing me right now, you can see the fault more than I can see my fault, correct? So this is not to say your answer was wrong, but I asked you about your educational background, right? So you want to take me through your bachelor's degree, what you did in bachelor's degree. You want to take me through what you are coming to pursue, how these two programs are linked. If they are far or wide apart, is it your interest that is making you go that direction? And then you can speak about maybe why you have taken this educational background, like you're a gender advocate, you're an entrepreneur. If you say you're a gender advocate, you want to briefly say something that you have done with your gender advocacy, right? If you want to say you're an entrepreneur, you want to quickly give me a line or two what business you do. Do you get it? Hi, Ade. Oh, I think he dropped. Are you here?
I can hear you, ma.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma, I'm with you.
Yeah, so I asked you about your educational background, which is not a typical question they ask, but I just a lot of before we go to the other questions. So you just want to talk about your bachelor's, and then you want to talk about your program that you study, and then if you want to talk about yourself, then you can talk about yourself. But like, I'm a gender advocate, I've done this, or I've championed this campaign. And if you are an entrepreneur, I have this business, or I have my own startup, I have my own non-profit organization, correct? So like you said, you want to be
Yes, ma.
precise, but you want to provide information that will not let the visa officer give you questions you didn't even prepare for. Okay, so let's
Okay.
go to the next question. I can see that you have a deficit of 44,000. How are you funding your education?
Okay, thank you, officer. My father, who has been sponsoring me since my childhood days, will be sponsoring me, ma'am.
Okay, you is that all?
Yes, he's a medical doctor here in Nigeria, and he owns a big hospital here, and he has a staff strength of 35, where
Okay.
he currently earn more than 200 million annually. So he
Okay.
will be the one covering my deficit.
Okay, so I think you have a draft of what you want to say. Your dad is a medical doctor. He's been funding your education for how long? And then he's the one sponsoring your school right now, correct? So I
Yes.
asked you, is that all for you to continue? I don't know if I jumped in so quickly, but you want to give all the details, like, without me having asking for that much information. So oh yeah. And then
Okay, ma'am.
you did mention that he's making over 200 million. You want to state the currency, or if possible, convert the amount of money your dad is making in Nigeria, I guess, to the dollar.
Okay.
So let's say he's making 200 million. If I put it in the conversion app right now, how much is it going to be? How much is your, because if you say 200 million naira, most likely I don't know naira as much as the visa officer also doesn't know, right? So we are comparing two different denominations of currency. So everyone,
Yes.
if you are going to talk about currency, you want to like make it equivalent to the dollar, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So you want to state the amount of money in dollars, and then if you state it and it's too small, I think you also didn't mention the name of the hospital. If it is possible, mention the name of the hospital. I don't think in that instance the person is going to Google the hospital, but it just shows some credibility to what you are saying.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. And so let's go to the next question. How many children does your father have?
My father only have two children, myself and my wonderful sister.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, two children should be fine, but you also want to, if they ask you a follow-up question about, is your sister in college, because then college is also expensive, like those things. So you want to close all the loops around your answers, right? You want to close all the loops
Yeah.
around your answers. Right now, I feel like I'm dragging the answers out of you, and it's fine. Yeah, but you also want to close all the loops around your answers. I have two sisters. My sister is, she doesn't have to ask you how old is your sister or where does your sister school. Your sister is in this school. Your sister is at this level. Like, you know, basic education is sometimes free in the United States. So you can say your sister is um um in basic education, which means that your dad is not spending much. But you also want to be mindful if you stated that your sister is old in your DS 160, then you want to make sure that there's consistency between the answer you are giving at the visa interview and then the answers in the um what do we call it, the DS 160. So you want to make sure that the answers match up. So are they for, like, for your funding? I think most of your questions are going to come around your funding, why you want to go to the United States at that deficit and your dad is funding you. So you want to, like, go out the story better, and then I'll be doing live. I think if I'm able, if it's possible, I can do the live every day, and then we can see the improvements in your answers before you go for your visa interview. But I think you have a rough idea, like, what they are asking for, right? They want to make sure your dad can fund you. They want to make sure that you have the educational background to come to the United States, and then you are not coming to be a burden, because once you have a deficit, it's sometimes to go around things in the United States. Yeah,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
you're welcome. Ben, Dami, are you ready for? So Salamatu is asking, is it advisable to use company statement during an interview? Yes, it's advisable to use a company statement during your visa interview, but you know, a company is a corporate or is a group. Let's say if it's a corporate or a group owned company, you want to make sure you are stating why the company is using their bank statement for you. Because let's say your dad is a shareholder in this company, then you want to go ahead to give the details of how much um your dad, yeah. So you want to make sure how much shares is in your dad's company. Like, in the company, my dad owes 30% of the shares. He earns this amount annually. That's why you are using the bank statement. Because indirectly, you become a stakeholder when your dad is a shareholder. So you have stakes in the company. So that it makes sense for the company to use their statement to file for you. If you are using the company statement as an employee, then you want to make sure that your proving to your home strong ties to your home country is linked to the company, because then I'm a company, I'm funding for your visa, right? Why am I funding you if you're not coming back to work for me? Do you get it? So if you're using it that the company is funding you and your dad or your uncle is not a shareholder, you want to make sure that you're saying that you have worked at this company, or you currently got an employment with this company, like concurrently with your school, right? So the company has agreed to wait for you to finish school and then you come back to work for them. I made this statement because on your CV, you don't have the company there already if you are not working there. So you want to make sure you are consistent, not saying that you have worked there and you are going to come back to work there. Do you get it? So I just got a job interview, I just got an offer with this company, but unfortunately fortunately or unfortunately, you got the um school application, school admission, and the interview at a time. So you want to go study, come back, work with the company. You want to be consistent. Don't say anything that's not in your resume. Don't say anything that's not in your DS 160. Ben, Dami, are you ready for us to do the prep? Ben and Dami.
Hello, good
Hi,
evening.
yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm good, are you?
I'm good. So, are you ready for us to do the prep?
Hello, can't hear you very well.
Okay. Do you let's say you pass me your I-20. What is your cost of attendance? What is your deficit?
Okay, my cost of attendance is 17,000.
Okay. And your deficit is?
There's no deficit. I don't have. I'm not being sponsored. I don't have a scholarship.
Yeah, so your deficit is the total 17,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why are you going to study in the US? Why the US and not any other country?
Yes, I plan to study in US because of the certificate is well recognized worldwide, and the professors and the lecturer in my particular institution I chose, I spoke with them, and they are versatile in social science. So that is why I'm going to US to study. And United States is also the democratic country in the whole world because of their democracy, and it's aligned with my course of interest.
Okay. I like your answer. You made some good points. So the trick to answering this question, everybody, the trick to answering this question is that you don't want to downplay your home country at the expense of elevating the United States. And I think I like that Ben did not do that. He did not talk anything about Nigeria or Ghana. You don't want to downplay your, like, I'm from Ghana, and we know, let me say something that is not going so well. Our currency is currently depreciating. So maybe you want to say that your our currency is depreciating, our cost of living is going up, and so you want to go to the United States to like that. Don't downplay your home country at the expense of your at the expense of elevating the United States. And to Ben's answer, I think that was a good answer, but I feel like it was not well articulated. Um, in as much as it's okay to fanboy, you want to be eloquent as possible. You mentioned that the US, so you, I think from what you said, you do social science, correct?
Yes, yes,
So while you are going to the US, I like the fact that you mentioned that you talk to some professors um in the school and you like what they are doing. So you can say that during my research for graduate studies, I chanced upon this professor in this school. I reached out to the professor. I read a lot about this professor, knowing their research interest. It triggered my interest, or it was aligned with my interest of what I'm studying, correct? And then because of that, you reached out to the professor and he was willing to be your mentor or something. So
okay,
do you get it? It sounds
all
better
right.
in that you read a lot about the professors and then you like them. That alone does not convince me if I'm the visa officer. So you want to say that you chance upon this professor, you read about them, their interests align with your interest, you reached out to them, and you were so excited that they found someone who is interested in what they are doing and they want to mentor you something. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you
All
also
right.
that the US is a democratic state and in the whole world as a social scientist. So you can say it in a better way. As a social scientist, we have studied this and this and this. The US is one of the. You don't want to say the US is the sole. You don't want to sound so you don't want to sound so desperate to come to the United States because there are also better opportunities somewhere, right? So during your studies, you found that the US is one of the best democratic states in the world, and then you talk a little bit about the democracy that you are saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds better, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, if I say you should interview me right now, you also find fault with me. So bear with me. I'm just trying to be the devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
So Ben, what are your plans after school?
But after my study, I plan to come back to my present work. I work with the Independent National Electoral Commission in my country.
Mm.
They they are involved in the elections in the country. But after then, I'm still open to work in other industry. I plan to work with for the foreign affairs, Nigeria foreign affairs, and other multinational companies that are available.
Okay, Ben, I like your answer. Once again, the devil's advocate. So it was a good point for you to say that you work with a company, this institution right now, and then you want to go and come back to work with this institution, right? So why are you
Yes.
coming back to this place? I want us to answer this question looking at what problem is existing, what solution are we providing based on the course we have read or based on the degree you are coming to acquire, correct? So
All
you
right.
work in this institution, the company oversees this and this and that, right? In your small way, you want to come back to help a certain problem in the company. If you are saying you want
Okay.
to come back to work with this company, I don't want you to mention your other interests with other institutions,
Okay.
because then it looks like you have a plan, but you don't have a plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm coming back to work with this company. Like, whether it's true or not, you are coming back to work with this company. So don't say you have other plans. Yeah,
All
just
right.
work on articulating what problem is there in the institution that you guys are trying to solve. What solution is your degree going to help you come and solve in this institution? So I think I read one transcript. The person is doing finance, and then they mentioned that they are going to come back to their home country to help edge the city, which is a city. So if you're Nigerian, the cities are Ghanaian currency. So to help edge the city, which is a current societal problem. And then what is he going to do? So they already started a research on how the city can. And then he did mention some policies like reducing imports, increasing our exports, making sure we are consuming Ghana made goods. So it looks like this person knows the problem and what they are doing. So like, I'm convinced that you are actually coming back. You have something doing. You have a commitment in your home country. So I'm going to come back. Like, do you get it?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah. And then, so you said you have a deficit, right? Who is funding your studies?
I will be sponsoring my education through this my savings from work, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I
Okay.
have a production of palm oil farm plantation and production of palm oil, and I also said containers which I used to store palm oil. So those are the where basis from funding that we used to fund my education.
Okay. I think you are rich. You are rich, but you just need to tell us how rich you are to fund yourself, right? So my shipping business or my selling container is worth this amount. My palm oil business is worth this amount. Personally, as a person, I have this amount in my bank account. Put figures. Let me put the figures together to assess if your money is going to be enough for you to come to the United States without being a burden or without coming to drop out. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
That's
your cost, your deficit is 15,000. My business makes this amount, or my business makes a profit of this amount at the end of every year. And so you are funding yourself with this business while I am away. Who is going to take care of your business? You want to say that as well, because if you are leaving and you are leaving your business, then the business is not making any revenue for you to get to pay your school fees. Do you get it?
all right.
Like, am I making some sense?
I understand you. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll add some people to the stage as well. So yeah, I think you also have a solid point. Like, yeah, sometimes once you get to the visa officer, all the ideas come actually. So you don't need to be fully prepared to go for the visa interview. You just want to make sure that you have at least some points to talk about. I did mention earlier in this video or this live that to every question that is asked, they are expecting you to provide a certain answer, or they are using it to assess something. So quickly, if they ask you a question, you want to assess why they want to give you that program. Do you get like that visa? And then you should be able to answer them accordingly. So Ben, I'm going to do a live every day if it's possible. You can join, and then as as much as we rehearse, the stories get better, right? You just have to get your story right. um Salama to saying, and what if your dad is the sole owner of the company? That's even better, because your no one is coming to say that why are you using the company business to fund for your child, right? If your dad is the sole owner of the company, that's even better. And with my situation, I'm applying for undergraduate course. It's even easier for undergraduate students to get a visa, much more than the postgraduates. Once you have your story right, it doesn't matter Your visa is not granted based off graduate studies or undergraduate studies. So just get your story right, and that should work. Even though I have a bachelor's degree in an unrelated course, that's fine. Like I did mention, if you have unrelated programs, you have another bachelor's degree. Okay, so after this bachelor's degree, you want to get this as a top up because this is what you want to do. Or after this bachelor's degree, you realize that you have more interest in this field because of this existing problem in your society and because you want to solve this problem in the society. So the stories, just put something together and then you can send me the transcript. I think you said you have my number. So you can send me the transcript and we can go through and I'll point out the mistakes. Who else is ready for us to talk? Chris, Temi, Ben. Okay, Ben has spoken. Ade has spoken. Hi, Chris. Do you want us to
Yeah.
talk? Okay. How are you doing today?
Hello, Emmy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris. Anyways, I actually got into a PhD in political science and at Idaho State. I already got my visa. I actually just want to point out few comment, and those would include people get, like you stated about, you talked about getting the story right. And I think one way to get the story right is having a sense of research. Like Ade, is it Adebola or Adewale, something like that? Adebowale. He stated his position, but it wasn't clear um, the kind of research or the topic or the subject area he's looking at. And I think
Right.
if they have the sense of the research they intend to do, then that will provide 50% of the story, because it will entail the very problem in society that they intend to resolve using their research. And I'm a Nigerian just like them. There are a lot of issues they need to look out for. One of them spoke as being a graduate of political science. There are a lot of issues in Nigeria currently that can be looked at. My area of focus is democracy, so they can look at that, looking at how to improve electoral process. So they can make a case by saying that series of elections since Nigeria's return to democracy, the Fourth Republic in 1999, had experienced several forms of malpractices, ranging from vote buying down to irregularities in result coalition. So they intend to pursue this program in political science because they are so much interested in that field of democracy, using several approaches ranging from probably maybe US democracy promotion in Nigeria, the kind of instruments the US use, the strategy and the approach to improve the electoral system, ranging from election observation down to supporting civil society organizations. So they just need to look for one research area and
Mm-hmm.
use it to support their story. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think coming from someone who just got their visa is a very good point. Congratulations on getting your visa. Um, you can share your experience with us as well. I shared my experience, but mine was not a difficult one. I know some experiences can be worse, right? So, can you share your experience with us, Chris? Like, what were the questions
Yeah.
they asked you, and then how did you answer them, or what do you think that if I'm going for my visa interview today again, what would you have done differently?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think one thing that, because currently I'm an Erasmus Mundus student, so I'm doing my second master's degree in European politics. I'm in Poland, and when I did the interview here, um, there were a lot of white people, a lot of Ukrainians, a lot of Georgians, a lot of Polish people. And I think the first thing is it's God. You need to ensure that you pray. And secondly, you need to also make sure that on that day, pay attention to the mood of the environment, the people, observe observe, get a sense of what is going on and how people's mood change, especially when you're inside the interview room. Because I saw some people who were so happy and they were jubilating before the time, having conversation, friendly conversation with each other. And immediately after the interview, you could tell that all is not well. So those things also matter. It helps you to also weigh which of the officer is really accepting people and those who are rejecting or denying people. That being said, for me personally, my experience was when I got there, the first question was, "What are you going to do?" And I stated that, okay, I have a bachelor's in so and so program. I am currently pursuing so and so program here. I have a bachelor's in philosophy from the University of Abuja, a first master's from the University of Ghana, where I read population science. Then I'm currently doing a second master's in European politics. I have been to several European countries due to my program, four universities in four different European countries in 2 years. And I'm currently undertaking a research on EU and US democracy promotion in Nigeria, looking at strategies, instruments, and approaches, the very underlying motivations. So when I stated that, I was asked another question: Do I have funding? Then I stated yes. She saw it. Then she asked if it's a research assistantship. I said yes. It's a research and teaching assistantship. And she now went further to ask. Um, oh, I've forgotten one last question again. Then the next thing I heard was, "I'm approving." And before my turn, I discovered that there were people before me who she rejected, and I was just scared going to her initially. There was another guy who was interviewing. I said, "Oh, maybe that guy would have been better." But really, when I went to her, it was easy. And apart from God, I also want to say that apart from God, apart from also you having your story right, for those who have funding, it is also a good way to make life a bit more easier for you. So that's what I can say. But
So
most importantly, make sure. Yeah, go ahead.
you had full fund. Did you have full funding?
Please go ahead.
Did you have full
Yes,
fund?
yes, yes. My funding, yes, yes. I had an SS though. It was more than what was required.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think I like your point about that we have to pray. Like, I don't want to say as Africans, but as Africans we believe that God is able to do everything, right? Even though your funding is not full, or even though you might have zero funding, you might have a huge cost of attendance, God is able to do the impossible, right? So, first of all, God can take the lead, and then everything else is based on you preparing because heaven helps those who help themselves. So, God is prepared to give you the visa, but if you go and
Mm.
they ask you a question and then you're not providing the details, like there is not much the visa officer can do, right? They're also there to protect their country. So you want to make sure you are being mindful of that. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your experience with us. Reading the room is also one
Yeah,
thing.
sorry,
Some
Emmy, can I
people are
just
naive.
add something?
Yeah, you can.
Em, yes, please. I just wanted to say that if you are going for the interview, you need to be confident. I discovered that when I listened to Adebo Wale and the other guy, especially for the first guy, I wasn't confident at all. Even the second guy, you could, maybe it's their first time, but really they need to practice. And once they know their story, they also need to confidently state out their story because it's very important. If you cannot speak it, you are stuttering, you are having words gap, it's like you are not really a student. You need to show them too. That's why I said research is very important. Have a key area and go and defend it. And you might just read some newspaper or some one or two document on Google Scholar. Have the idea of what has been done before and go and say it.
Mm,
Because there's nothing under the sun in terms of research that you're going to do that somebody has not touched before. So just read one paper, know the story in the paper, and go and tell them that that is what you want to do.
yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Chris. That was very good. I'm happy you shared that with us. Patrick says he wants to. Tell me, did you get a link? Let me share the link again, and then anyone that is ready can unmute themselves, and then we can do one. Okay, I just shared the
Yeah,
link.
please,
So,
I'm ready.
okay, who's ready? Bismarck, correct? Or
Yeah, I'm also ready. So
okay, yeah, Bismarck. Let's do it. Do it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing too?
I'm doing good. So let's say you pass me your ID. I don't know. I want to know much about what is your cost of attendance and then what is the first.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, my cost of attendance is $68,000, and
Eight
my
thousand.
deficit is $68,000,
Okay.
and my deficit is $2,079.
Okay.
The program is Masters in Business Administration,
Okay. What school are you going to?
North Carolina State University.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Hi, hi, Bismarck. Yeah. Tell me why are you going to the Bis? I
There's
wanted
some
to
noise at
hear
the
about Bis
background. Is it coming from my
because
end?
yeah, the noise is coming from your end. But that's fine. You can still speak. We are here for the information, so I don't think that should be a bother.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you take the question again?
Yeah. So why are you coming to the US?
So I'm coming to the US to pursue a Masters in Business Administration with specialization in finance at the North Carolina State University. This program will build my expertise in the area of business and also prepare me to take a managerial role as a finance controller upon completion of my studies and return to my home country to partake in a management training program.
Good, good. Like I don't have any feedback for this. This was precise. He told us about his background. He told about the details of MBA because in my mind I also wanted to know the concentration of MBA that got him the funding. So he actually answered my question without me having to ask. So I think Bismarck, that was a good point. Um, so you mentioned that you have just a deficit of 2,000. So is your other funding a teaching assistantship?
Yes, I have assistantship which values about $45 and also merit-based scholarship valuing $13,000.
Wow, that's good. Take out my wow and those things. I'm impressed that you from a business background as MBA. I know how it's hard to get funding, so I'm impressed that you have that much funding as a business um in analytics students or MBA student. I also did global business management. So I think your answers are good. So what are your plans after school?
My plan after school is to return to my current organization to take the role of a finance controller. I currently work with Ecom Agri-Trade, which is a multinational company that trades in commodities such as cocoa, cashew, and coffee. We also provide sustainable management services in the agricultural sector to chocolate producers such as Nestle, Hershey, and Lindt.
Okay. I don't have any feedback. So I think to those I interviewed earlier, this is what we're talking about. I'm playing the devil's advocate, but as the devil right now, I don't have any devilish feedback. So yeah, Ade and Ben, I think tomorrow when you join the live, I want to say I'm the devil, but I don't have any answer. Yeah. So Bismarck, you said you have a deficit of 2,000. How are you funding your deficit?
I have worked over the past 6 years and I've been able to save enough to cover my deficit of $2,079. I currently occupy the role of an accounts and finance manager, where I earn an average annual salary of 150,000 Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to 10,000 US dollars.
Wow. And so with that you have a bank statement, but I don't think a bank statement will be necessary for 2,000. But let's just say, do you have any bank statement to back that up?
Yeah, I have a bank statement with about 9,000 US dollars as the balance.
Okay. So where are you planning to go for a visa interview? Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire?
Accra, and it's next week, Tuesday.
Okay, that's very close. I think I don't have, so once you have the funding, even if you don't have the funding, usually we don't want to discourage if you don't have the funding. Not everyone got the funding. Personally, I knew someone who went for visa interview last week, 54,000 deficit. They got the visa. So even the funding is not the story. We can all attest to the fact that Bismarck was very confident. He looked like he knows what story he has crafted. He looked like he knows why I'm asking him these questions, right? So this was the feedback that I wanted us to see. So it's good that we've seen someone with the confidence and someone who is still preparing. Yeah, Bismarck, thank you so much for your answers. I think you might have prepped for more questions, but you can send me a message and I'll go through your transcript. But so far I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. How do I get your number?
I can share my number, but for business purposes only. Like, yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
understood.
602-815-1216. I just dropped my number in the chat. So you can text me your transcripts. So you have to add a +1, I guess, to work.
All right, sure.
Yeah, and then you can send me a WhatsApp message. I'll review it and then give any feedback to the other questions in case they ask you something other than what we have prepped today. I think Patrick wanted to be interviewed, but I think Patrick, yeah, I just added Patrick. So let's do Patrick. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Emmy.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. So I'm your visa officer for today. I want to know your cost of attendance, and then I want to know your deficit. I want to know your studies, like what school and on what program. Then we can start.
Okay, so my cost of attendance is $47,000,
Okay.
and I have a graduate assistantship of
Of
$30,000.
how much?
That is $47,000.
And then your graduate assistantship is
My graduate assistantship is $30,000
okay, a
plus,
deficit of
and
17,000.
a deficit of 16,443. So I think I have a graduate assistantship of
That
$30,962.
okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to Florida Atlantic University. The program is MA Anthropology.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You said you are going to where?
Florida Atlantic University.
Okay, and then your program is MA
MA
Anthropology.
Anthropology.
Okay. So Patrick, why did you choose the United States over all other countries in the world?
I chose the United States and specifically Florida Atlantic University on the basis of two reasons. One, Florida Atlantic University, which is in the United States, has a center. Okay, so please, I'm coming. I would want to ask this: when a question like this come, can I link it with my concentration? Do you think it is best to link
So
it with?
yeah, if you watch my videos, I'm like any question that's asked, we all know that we are doing the visa interview for three things. Like the visa officer wants to assess three things: your funding, your strong ties to your home country, because the F1 visa is a non-immigrant visa, which means that once you are coming for an F1 visa, you do not have to show any immigrant intent. And immigrant intent is your plan or your mindset of staying in the US. So if you always watch my videos, I talk about not mentioning OPT, not mentioning STEM extension, not mentioning EB1, EB2, all of those other things that can make you stay in the United States, because that's a conversation we can have. Like if you want to stay in the United States. So anytime a question is asked, if you can link all of these three things in one answer, that's fine. It's up to you. Our
Okay.
concept that be precise and like be precise and give the information. Don't beat about the bush trying to count all the three criteria in one answer, and then the visa officer is bored. Now I don't know where I'm tracking. Like, do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not bad to link it. Just be concise, be meaningful, and then it's like you've been asked. Do you have a relative in the United States? He didn't ask you if you are going to come back, but I do have a relative in the United States. This person is my cousin, or this person is my brother. But personally, I have a business in Canada. I would want to continue to run. So after I plan to come and run this business. He has them on my sibling. He didn't ask about my immigrant intent, but I just told him that I have a strong ties to my home country, irrespective of the fact that I have a relative in the US.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go on. Um,
Okay.
you can go ahead. I asked you why you chose
Why
the
the US? Yeah.
yeah the
So I chose US specifically to study in Florida Atlantic University and to read masters in anthropology, because the university, with a concentration in autism, the university has a center for autism and related disabilities, of which I believe that going into such an institution would help me have a practical hand to whatever thing I'll be learning. So with this role that I'll be taking over, that I can come back to Ghana and specifically my workplace and contribute to whatever thing I've learned there to help solve problems related to autism, please.
okay. I think you have the solution to. You have a problem which is autism. You have So I don't know much about anthropology, but is it a health related stuff?
Okay, so it's not a health, it's a social science related stuff.
Okay.
That is, anthropology basically is the study of people, the study of people, that is their history from the past, present, and future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you have a problem, you have a solution, and then you exhibited your strong ties to your home country. So that I don't have any feedback. So Bismarck, I can see you have a deficit of 16,000. Can you tell me how you are funding this deficit?
So my remaining deficit, which is 16,443, will taken care by my other brother in the person of Mr. James Jamnayamwa, who is the Director for Petroleum at the Ministries of Energy, Ghana, please.
Okay, so I like that you mentioned the person's name. Once again, credibility and then honesty, right? Even though
Yes,
this
please.
person might not exist, the fact that you had the confidence to mention a name means that it's credible some way, somehow. You want to mention how much your brother is making, just to give us a rough idea if the person is capable and able to sponsor you. You want to make his earning equivalent in dollars. So he's earning, let's say he's earning 10,000 Ghana cedis, equivalent to $1,000. You want to mention, so you want to do the math and then create your own story. So want to mention how much he's earning, and then in dollars as well. So it just gives that idea. So once you say how much he's earning and we compare it to your deficit, then we start to ask you about his family. Is he married or does he have kids? You want to craft your story around that. Once you are mentioning a relative sponsoring you, there is a tendency that I'm going to want to know if this person has other responsibilities apart from you. What percentage of their income are they using to fund you? Do you get it? Patrick, are you there? Yeah. So yeah, that was good. But you want to mention how much your brother is making, and then
Okay.
yeah.
So my other brother earns an annual income of $140,000.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, 140,000 and 16,000. I'm not tempted to ask you if they have a family or not. Yeah. So do you have a bank statement to
Yeah,
back your deficit? Is it from your brother or somebody else?
that is for my brother.
Okay. Okay.
And his closing balance on the bank statement is $51,000.
Yeah, that's money. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think And then we've talked about your plans after school. We talked about why you are going to the US. Talk about how you are funding your deficit, right?
Yeah.
Um, you are doing a graduate assistantship, so I don't think I'll ask any question from there. So mostly these questions are from how you are funding your strong country, which can come in different forms. Why this school? What are your plans after school? After graduation, what's next? Are you plan? So I did a video on do's and don'ts in your visa interview. Like, don't say. I know most of you know about STEM, OPT, H1B, EB2, EB1. All of these are avenues that national students we use to stay in the United States after school. You don't want to mention any of this when you are asked what are your plans after school.
Oh, okay. Duly noted.
Yeah. Yeah. So once, yeah, you have a story about coming back to solve a problem of autism, and then you have a story of who is funding you. You have a bank statement. You just need to prep more. And like I've dropped my number. Reading through the transcript is a lot easier as well. So I can read through your transcripts at my earliest convenience, and then we'll see like which ones need to be changed and which ones need to be maybe added up or something. Um, Thank you, Chris. I think you have a great story. You have huge funding, so God will do the rest. Don't worry. You've gotten the visa.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So I would write my transcript and send it to you, God willing, by tomorrow noon.
Okay,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the assistance.
No, no problem. I think we've done everyone on the thing now. Is there anyone that wants us to prep today? We are heading one at 30 minutes so we can end. Okay, do you want us to prep today? Oh, I think I talked to you already. Oh, hello, Kay. Owusua says she wants to be interviewed. Let's try.
But please, can I ask, if do you have any WhatsApp platform that I can join, because I saw this link somewhere and I just decided to join. So I don't know if you have a WhatsApp.
Yeah, I do have a WhatsApp platform. Let me drop that in the chat. Um,
Okay.
so I can see some people have texted me already. Please, I'll reply them when we are done with this. I'm trying to get the link to one WhatsApp platform, and then um, if anyone wants to be interviewed, please join the link I just dropped, and then we can do that quickly. Um, I just dropped a link to the visa prep group. Wait, what link did I drop? Um, yeah, I dropped the link to the F1 visa prep group that I have. I also have a group that I share like application waivers and those things. So I'll just drop one, just saying in case you want to share it with someone or you want to keep it for future stuff. Um, yeah, so I'll be doing this every day, at least even if it's 30 minutes or 1 hour. We can prep two people, and then other people can learn from it. So in case you want to invite someone or let somebody know about this, you can let them know. I think Owusua wanted to be prepped, but she's not here currently. Have I, Dami, have we done it? You asked the question. I think you mentioned, you asked that, can your sponsor be in the US? It is perfectly fine for your sponsor to be in the US. You just want to make sure that, in as much as you have a sponsor in the US, quickly you want to make sure you are iterating your strong ties to your home country anytime a question is asked, because the tendency that that person is going to aid you to stay here is very easy. Like, that's the thought, right? If I know someone here, then the person can aid me stay here. So you want to iterate that fact very quickly. You want to iterate that fact very quickly. I have a relative here, this person is sponsoring me, but I plan to come back to do this. You want to keep saying that over and over again, just to make sure that it's eating into the person's head that you are going to come back. But it's perfectly fine. If a relative from the US is sponsoring you, it's basically the same thing. You want to state the amount in dollars, how much they are earning. You want to prepare to answer questions about their family. You want to get your story right. Basically, it's the same thing. Go with the same confidence, go with the same honesty, go with the same legit documents, and you should be good. Dami, do you have any questions you want us to prep? Hi, Dami. Yep. So if anyone, I think today we have done 1 hour 30 minutes. If no one is coming again, let me see. If let's wait for like 2 minutes. If no one comes, we can end today's session. And I really appreciate you all for joining. I'll be doing this every day, so you can share the link with people that are also prepping, and then we can go through this. You learn from others as much as they are answering their questions. You put one or two together, get your story right, go with the confidence. We all saw the difference between people that prepped with us today with confidence, and even if they are not saying anything, their confidence alone makes you listen. So confidence, confidence, confidence. You want to go with all confidence, even if it's a deficit of how much money, you want to go with confidence. And then someone also asked about the notes, so I'm going to share the notes. Zainab says, if I use my uncle for my last interview, can I change my sponsor to my mom? I was denied in November. I'm going back next month. Yes, your sponsors can change. We just want to know if your new sponsor is able to sponsor you. If your new sponsor has the amount of money as much as your deficit, you should be good. You can change your sponsor. And then I'm sure you've assessed yourself. If you've been denied a visa before, you've assessed yourself to know what went wrong, right? Just don't think that the visa officers are there to deny people. You have accessed yourself to know what went wrong. So just correct those stories, and you should be good. Especially, at least you have the experience before, you know how the environment is like. So the confidence should be much better, even better than you went with the first one. So Zainab, I think you should be good. Do you have any other questions? If you have a question and you want to drop it in the chat, I can look at them before we zoom out. Yeah, so that's the link to my WhatsApp for the application waivers, and then I dropped the one for the visa interview, visa stuff. So I think we should be good today. Anyone has any questions? Did I address every question? Yes. So if I've answered your question, Chris, do you have anything for us?
Sorry, is it me?
Yeah, I think you were unmuted, so I thought you wanted to speak. So it's fine if you, yeah.
Oh, no, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was just listening. It's fine. Sorry.
Thank you. Kay is joining again. Hi, Kay. Do you want us to speak? Do you have a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. How can we like? Do you want us to prep, or you just have a question?
Yes, I want us to prep and then also some questions.
Okay. So hi Chris, how are you doing today? I'm your visa officer today, obviously. So, what's your funding decision? What's your school?
Okay, so my school is the George Washington University.
Okay.
Yes, and my cost of attendance is 60,897,
Okay.
and then
Wait,
my deficit is 41,700.
okay. I am Chris. What program are you going to study?
So I'm going for a master's in biomedical engineering.
Okay, that's a good
Yes.
program. So why are you going to study in the US?
So I'm going to study. So I'm going to the US to pursue a 2-year master's degree in biomedical engineering at the George Washington University School of Engineering and Applied Science. And I want to concentrate more on rehabilitation engineering, specifically in the field of assistive prosthetics for persons with disabilities. And this will endow me with the skills and expertise to come back to my home country and help out people with disabilities, especially amputees.
Okay. Are we done? Okay, I like your answer. You know what you are doing. You are problem and a solution. We have said it over and over again today. I also want to state that like your area of expertise is or your problem is something that is a problem. So you can say you just was explicit you were not explicit about what specifically you are coming to do to help the amputees, right? So maybe you want to drive the amputee campaign. Like in Africa, we have the perception that persons with disabilities cannot do anything, or persons with disabilities are not part of the society. So you are come to drive a something campaign. Like you are come to do this. Like what role are you going to play in the problem you are going to solve? Correct.
Okay, yes. So for my course, biomedical engineering, we are more into design of
The device.
medical. Yes, please. So, okay, I forgot to mention that, but specifically, I would be helping to develop affordable and efficient prosthetic and orthotic devices for amputees.
Yeah. So I didn't have to ask you that for you to give me that information. So you want to give me information without me pulling out the information from you. Give me as much information that I don't need to think about this person to give you the visa. Correct. That's a very good. I know most of my friends are in biomedical engineering. I can connect you with some of them, but you have to give me that information.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So after I've asked you about um what program are you going to study, and it was good that you brought in your home ties, so I don't have to ask you about what are your plans after school. So how are you planning to fund your deficit?
Okay, so I have been awarded the George Washington's Dean Scholarship. That takes care of 50% of my tuition for the entire duration of my program. The rest of my deficit will be covered by my dad, Mr. Ernest Osei, who is an entrepreneur and owns Center Gold Ventures. They deal with the fabrication and installation of aluminum and glass doors and windows, as well as a consultation service for construction works. He earns an annual income of 120 to 150,000 dollars, and he sees this graduate opportunity as an investment in my future.
Okay. So I wanted to ask a question. I lost my thread of my your dad is funding you, and he has his own business. You mentioned the amount of money he's making. I don't like that you gave a range. And then you're
Okay,
like,
so
yeah, I think you should just state the amount, because me, my annual is just an amount, right? There are other things, but when someone wants to assess your financial stability, they just use your base. So what is his base, or what annual proceeds do they get? Maybe they make 150,000. That's fine. But I think it will make sense because it's a business and everything varies. Is consequential, right? So that sounds good, but then it will sound better if you have a specific amount. And is your dad's name on the bank statement, or do you have a bank statement to cater for what you're saying?
yes, please. I have brought my dad's bank statement here to
Mm-hmm.
show that the funding is available.
Okay. Okay. So your dad has funded you. How many children does your dad have?
So I am the firstborn together with two other children.
Okay. So I think I gave this feedback to someone else as well. You want to state, if especially if they're in basic school, you want to just state that your two siblings are in basic school, so that it gives them a clear a clear idea of the fact that your dad is not spending so much money on the other two children.
Oh,
But
okay. All right.
also you want to make sure that you are saying everything that tallies with the DS-160. May say DS-160, you told them you have three siblings, make sure you are telling them you have three siblings. If you told them your siblings' age, I don't remember what questions they asked, but if you told them your siblings' age, you want to make sure that their age is tallying with their level of education. I can't say my sibling is 20 years and also they are still in basic education. Do you get it?
Yes,
So that
please.
consistency with your DS-160 and your answers. Yeah, because your dad is funding you, I think they'll ask. I mean that's the money you said is in cedis or dollars.
The money I said is in dollars, please.
Yes, and the money is on the bank statement. So that's a huge difference. Like, it's so much to cater for your deficit, which is 47,000, 150,000 is a lot of money, which is one third of it. So that's good. Like, I did the bank statement that I said, the video that I said that it has to be 1.5. I think this is more than 1.5. So you should be good. And yeah. So basically, because your dad is funding you and it's a business, you want to make sure you know much about the business, like when you are describing it, and then you want to state the amount the business is earning. Some people mention how many employees they have, just to make it seem as real as possible and as credible as possible.
Yes, please. And also, can I also mention the number of years that my dad has worked in the business also?
Yeah, that also tells how much he might have been able to save. So yeah, you just want to be concise, make meaning, give as much information as you can, but it should be concise, so like you don't bore the person. Yeah, about $47,000 is a huge deficit that you want to craft the story right. So you want to make emphasis on how the business is thriving, right? How much profit they are making, how much they make annually.
Yes, please. Yes,
Mm,
please.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think your most of these things, like once you have a deficit, your questions are most likely to come from there. So you should be good. I mean, we can prep some more too. So anytime I do the live, you can join and we see if that now the story sounds better. When is your interview? But you have a, like, you don't have a problem. I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. So I had a question too about the my plans after. Yeah. So from what I've been hearing so far from the transcripts, right? The applicants are already in companies, and
Okay.
then they apply for a master. They apply for a master's degree. Uh-huh. And then when being asked that what are your plans after studies, they then immediately say, "I'll come back to my company to assume this role or to assume this position." Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but for my case, I'm in Ghana, right? And I completed my bachelor's last year, and I am doing my national service. I'm doing my
in a
national
in a
service.
right
And please come again.
in a company, right? Or
Yes. I'm a teaching and research assistant. Yes, at KNUST.
and you said you're biomedical.
Yes, please, biomedical.
So like you can use amputee story with disability, or you can come and continue a research that you guys are doing.
Okay, yeah. So
Like
that was what, yeah, that was what I was trying to consider, because this
yeah. So
national
as
service
a
is not actually a job.
yeah, as a teaching assistant, most of the time you can convince them that you have research that you are working on, right? And then, like Chris
Yes.
made point, once you know about a certain research, I like how he said everything about what he was doing. I don't know what he does. I didn't understand much, but you know the person knows what he's doing. So you can tell us that you are currently doing a research in designing this and this and this. You talk a little bit about what you guys are designing and researching into, and you're coming back to do that. And then also, like, the amputee story is still in line with what you are doing. So you can still say that you still have a personal desire to help people with amputees. Like the story that I said, there's not much education around these people. So while you are designing these devices, you also want to raise the campaign of awareness, like those things.
Yes, please.
So
So even for
you are coming back to do this research, also you have an interest in with this group of people, so you are designing and doing this, and then you have the campaign. It sounds like a solid plan after school.
okay, please.
Yeah, is there any question? Like, do you get my point?
Yes, I totally get your point.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally get your
Yeah,
point.
please, I have a question.
Okay, give me 1 second. I think I saw some questions. If I use my uncle for my last interview, okay, I address that. If I am using students loan to fund my studies, is it okay? Also, I still need sponsor for my family. Hi, Chuku. So I think that I have a video on student loan that I would want you to check out. It was very good. I spoke about the fact that student loan is any other funding option, and it's perfectly fine to use student loan. Don't think that because you are using student loan, your story is not good enough. It's perfectly fine. You go with as much confidence as you go with a full funding or partial funding from the school or sponsorship from the family. You just have to know your repayment plan, the monthly, the principal, the interest, how you plan to repay it. And then we even said in that interview that if you are using a student, so you can tell them that, let's say I'm doing civil engineering in Ghana or in Nigeria, the civil engineer earns about an annual of $100,000. I plan to come back to work with this company, and then that's how you are paying your students. So because sometimes the story student loan is a little bit difficult to defend, because they are like, how are you going to come work to get that money? Do you get it? So it also creates the intention of this person has an immigrant intent of working to stay and working to pay their students loan. So you want to quickly let them know that you have a plan. I'm coming back to work as a business administration graduate in Ghana. I earn about 80,000 annual. I'm going to pay about a month. So you have to do your monthly calculation. If you are taking a student loan of 40,000, maybe monthly you are going to pay $300 or 300 cedis. How are you paying that money? So with a student loan, that's the question you need to think about. Just go through my channel. I have 2 videos on student loan, one for the visa interview and one to even use student loan. Get to the US and discard the student loan. Look for a professor as quick as possible, and then you just go to Empower to tell them, or whichever student loan, to tell them, hey, I got funding. Then they'll come up with a plan for you to just clear whatever debt that you have. So it's like any other form of funding. So I think you shouldn't bother. We can do a prep if you want today or tomorrow. Any day I'll be joining this live, and then we see how your story unfolds with the students loan, and we close the loopholes around that. Ngozi says, what type of questions do they ask undergraduates? So visa interview, F1 visa is issued to any student that is wanting to come to the United States to study. So whether PhD, masters, undergraduate, they are assessing the same thing: your immigrant intent, your strong tie to your home country, how are you able to fund your visa. So if you are doing undergraduate studies, there is no specific questions that they ask. Most likely, once you tell them about yourself, once you give them your I-20, those documents determine which line of questions you get. If you have a full funding, your questions are more like, what are your strong ties to your home country? If you have a funding deficit, your questions are going to be around how much did you, how much, how are you funding yourself? Who is paying for it? How are they able to pay for it? Is their money sufficient? Is their money credible? Is their money easy to get into their hand, like liquidity? So there is no specific questions they ask a specific group of people, depending on your documents. That's why everybody's story is different. I think I've answered all the questions. Is there anyone else that wants us to?
Yes, I want to ask the question, please.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. So, my question is that, you see, when we mention about annual income,
Mm-hmm.
so let's tally with the closing balance of the bank statement.
Not necessarily, because me, maybe, yeah. So let me use myself as an example. I might not have my annual in my account.
Please, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Can you
hear you
hear
now.
me? Yeah. So I said let's use myself as an example. I'm writing it down. I don't have my, or someone can be earning 100,000 and 100,000 in their account, because they have other things to take care of. They have other projects, they have other investments, they have other savings. Do you get it? Is
Okay.
the amount as the balance should just make sense to be able to fund the studies. So let's say you have a deficit of 12,000, the person earns an annual of 120,000. They should just have an amount more than 12,000 or $20,000 to be able to fund you. Please, do you get it?
Okay. Yes, I get you.
Yeah. So it shouldn't tally, but then the balance should be able to, like, we are looking at the balance as though the money that's available for the person to help you with. So it should be able to help you. There should be enough, but not necessarily tally with the um balance.
Oh, okay.
What type of question we have answered that? The study is MS cybersecurity. Yeah, so Chuku says he's going to study cybersecurity. I think Chuku, you can do a prep tomorrow if you want. Just craft your transcript or your story, and then we can do a prep tomorrow. Because once you tell the story, that's when we're able to find the loopholes. Yeah, but cybersecurity, I think you have a good story to make because it's a concern for the world and even Africa too. Um, does anyone has any questions again? I don't see anyone in the waiting room. I think Sadiq wants to come in. Hi, Sadiq, you just joined in. Sadiq, come in. Hi. Okay, I think Sadiq can is not ready to talk to us today. So yes, same time tomorrow, 12 p.m. GMT. We'll be on live. As much people that can join, just share the link to people. Subscribe to the channel, please. At least something to support me, right? I'll spend 2 hours here today. Yes, so subscribe, share the link to other people. We'll be doing this for quite some time, so you can just join and then we will do the prep. So tomorrow, once we join, we are not doing the introduction again. We just do the prep to analyze the stories that different people have. I can see someone texted me that they are learning a lot from people's story, right? So it's just through people's story. You also close your own loopholes, and then when you are ready, we can prep with you as well. It was nice speaking to you. It was good to know different people today, and I'm hoping that with time or with the constant practice that we plan to do, we all get our visas. I know it's stressful, but trust me, the process is worth it. The US is worth it. No one shouldn't lie to you. Yeah, it's worth it. And then there's light at the end of the tunnel, so stay in there, hang in there. um there's light at the end of the tunnel. It can change your life. So just treat this opportunity as one that can change your life. So tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. GMT. If you're in Nigeria, I think it's +1 or -1. So just share the link for as much people that can join, and then we'll meet same time tomorrow, 12 p.m. GMT. Thank you all. I'll send the link to my WhatsApp groups. I share the link. So if you, before I end the call, just go through and then subscribe to the WhatsApp link. Like, just go on there. I don't disturb on the WhatsApp page, so it should be good. And then we can just once I share the link, you can share it with other people as well. Just prepare if you want us to prep tomorrow, so that it will be meaningful and quick. Once I join, anyone on the call is going to prep. We give you the feedback. Tomorrow, the next day, we can say, hey, let's see if your story has improved. Let's see you took the feedback that we did. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know any feedback that you have. If this was insightful, just put it in the comment section, and I'll be glad to read those comments as well. Thank you so much for joining, and see you tomorrow. Bye. So also, this live will be there for God knows when. I'm not deleting it. It will be posted on YouTube. So anytime you want to go back to this live, you should have it. You can still leave your comments so that people know that the video was helpful. Just give the video a thumbs up for me as well, so that people search F1 interview, it will come up. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.